You're docking me 2.5 hours a week for lunch whether I take it or not. I worked for a prestigious millwork. We made cabinets and custom moldings, etc. Very, very high-end, working with companies on tight schedules. I was the only truck driver. Company was owned by a husband and wife, and the wife did not like me. They had implemented mandatory lunches for everyone in the shop and building, etc. But due to the uniqueness of my position, I usually didn't have to adhere to stupid rules like that. And I knew it was just a way for them to screw the workers, because a lot of guys were dedicated and would work through lunch. She finally caught up to me one day and was reviewing my time card and was angry and said, "I don't care, you don't have any excuse, you must take a lunch." And I argued the point, said that some of the materials I was picking up with critical. She said, "I don't care." I think now as when I enter into the malicious part of this. So I would go pick up zebra wood that they needed right away at noon, and after the load was loaded I pulled into Burger King and ignored any phone calls that my manager sent and got back to the shop 2 hours later, and he was livid because he had 3 very expensive people standing around waiting for me. Needless to say, I never had to take a lunch again. Not sure the pride people have in not taking lunch breaks. I could see a truck driver not having a set schedule but taking one between deliveries. At my place, Gov't office, we got an unpaid half hour which could be taken anytime, though usually between 11 to 1 p.m. Some people worked through it and didn't claim it on their time card, thinking that they can get out a half hour earlier, but they were cautioned about doing so. Was allowable on rare occasions but not to be routine. We dealt with expiring funds, so getting a contract awarded before the funds expired was an allowable occasion, though a person would probably be working late that day. 2. You should take a lunch regardless. You have a right to one. In Florida, I require my guys to take a 1/2 hour lunch and 2 15-minute breaks. If they don't take them, they'll leave an hour early. Wow. I'm not sure how the boss is the bad guy, girl in a story about having to take a break. I do the same with my workers. I didn't care if it is busy. All workers deserve a break in their day. Happy rested workers are more productive. Maybe we delay or take breaks early, but they deserve your breaks. Mad how this was written as some kind of gotcha moment. Someone told me I needed to take a break during my workday. PFFTI took the piss one time and now I don't have to take them anymore. What? Lol. Depending on where you are, there may be a law that says you have to take a lunch break. She may not like you, but she's got to obey the laws.
Why don't you want a lunch break?
It's the law if you work full-time. You may be cool with the owners right now, but if you have a falling out in the future, you could use that against them. Never work for free. So you want to work through lunch? Why? Isn't the time unpaid anyway? Stop what you're doing and take your lunch break. The work can wait. I get docked an hour every day. We used to have no lunch forms that we would fill out when we didn't take lunch. Until I started using them. The boss literally threw it back at me and said, "No." And now we take an hour lunch no matter how busy we are. Because fuck that shit. As others have mentioned, they are probably complying with the law. Regardless of that, it's their business, and if they mandate a lunch break, they are within their rights. Where I live, it's illegal to have your employees not take a lunch if they work a shift longer than 6 hours. It's a law that prevents employers from denying their employees a lunch break. You're posting about your employer making you take a lunch break. What are the laws in your area like? Because there's no way in hell I'd want to live and work in a place where employers have every right to deny their employees a lunch. And if one of my employees specifically timed their lunch to harm my company, I'd fire their ass that day. Guys were dedicated and would work through lunch. Dedicated and would work through lunch. Work through lunch. Stupid and work through lunch. The reason why they forced you to take a lunch break wasn't because they were trying to screw you over out of 30 minutes. It's because it's required by law and they can't turn in your timesheet without you clocking out for half an hour without them getting in trouble. So regardless, they have to define those 30 minutes whether you took it or not. They're protecting their own ass from getting sued. You and the other employees are dumb for not taking your lunch break and working through it. Because it's not only your right but a requirement. And you're not getting paid during that time. And it's idiots like you that make other companies think they can force their employees to work during their unpaid lunch break too. Are you not screwing yourselves because you are working through a break you are not paid for? Unless you are at work for 40 hours and 2.5 of those are for lunch break? Or as you at work for 42.5 hours and 2.5 of those are for lunch? I worked for a great company that understood I worked through my lunch every day. They would clock me out an extra half hour past the time I worked just so they looked like they were in compliance. God, I miss that place. Some places will fire you for working through breaks. You work through your lunch without pay? This is the lamest malicious compliance I've ever seen. You really showed them.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.